What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the show. Look, before we even get started, you need to hear this. Something just flipped behind the scenes, and 99% of the market has no idea it happened. I'm talking about a trigger moment that doesn't show up on TradingView, that's not in the charts, and wasn't tweeted by any of the big accounts. The XRP inflows, they didn't just look good. They exposed a crack in the system, a crack that tells you exactly where the next leg of this bull run starts. And the wildest part, nobody's talking about the one detail that changes everything. Not Bloomberg, not CNBC, not the usual crypto crowd. Nobody. But I've got it. You know I got it. And once you see how this plays into the ETF mechanics, the ILP patents, and the institutional flow pipeline, you're going to understand why the next move for XRP isn't a maybe, that it is already in motion. So buckle up, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, because what I'm about to show you is the real signal underneath the noise. Bitcoin coming in at 95,000. $31. It's currently down 7.9%. ETH coming in at 3,088. It is down 11.81%. XRP is about to be down double digits. 9.99% coming in at $2.23. Total cryptocurrency market cap 3.37 trillion as that fear and greed index. Boy, oh boy, they are putting fear in everyone. Now, Crypto Airy put this out. We're gonna kick it off right here. Listen to this clip, and then let's talk about in-kind ETF orders and what that actually means.
And we're also seeing a large amount of orders this morning for in-kind and XRP as well. One of the things that when in-kind orders come in, you don't see it in trade volume. So trade volume is a little bit tricky. It doesn't necessarily translate one-to-one on AUM or inflows. It's just what's being transacted throughout the day. But when you have people moving their coins from a wallet or a ledger into an ETF, that trade volume doesn't occur because it is in kind.
Look, in-kind ETF orders, normally people don't care. It's boring ETF mechanics. But in the case of Canary's XRP ETF, it's the smoking gun. Because here's the thing that nobody gets. A huge chunk of the ETF's first day activity wasn't actually counted towards the total trade volume because the orders were actually delivered in XRP itself. Think about that for a second. They literally delivered XRP to the issuer off the books, meaning a massive amount of XRP movement was invisible to the headline numbers that everyone is screaming about. So while the public saw 58 million in volume, already the number one ETF debut of the entire year, the real flow was actually even bigger. And Canary is so much smaller than Bitwise where Solana launched. If Solana launched on Canary day one, they wouldn't have seen 57 million in volume. They probably would have seen around like 20, maybe even 10 million in volume. That's huge, folks. But here's where it gets spicy. Because if a big firm accumulates XRP off the market and delivers it in kind, it doesn't show up in trade volume. It doesn't hit the chart. It doesn't move the price in real time. But the ETF still ends up holding the XRP. So while everyone's yelling, why didn't the price pump? The truth is simple. Because the buying already happened. It's just not where you could actually see it. That's the kind of thing that institutions do when they are positioning themselves early, quietly, and before the crowd actually figures it out. And trust me, this isn't retail behavior. Retail doesn't do in-kind transfers for a regulated ETF. This is big money. This is planned. This is coordinated accumulation. Hit that like button if you're following this. Because once you see how this all lines up with the other ETF data, it gets even crazier. Now, we went over this in the first video. Bitwise Solana, 57 million. Bitwise controls 15 billion. Canary XRP, 58 million. Canary controls 100 million. We are comparing 15 billion to 100 million. And XRP still outperformed it. A tiny boutique firm outperformed a massive institutional grade asset manager on launch day with a product they weren't even expected to dominate. Do you understand that? Do you understand that the demand for XRP exposure is way bigger than the market cap implies? And they also know that XRP ETFs are going to be cheaper to operate. XRP's on-chain settlement is instant. XRP's liquidity footprint is global. XRP has enterprise infrastructure waiting behind the scenes. Bitwise didn't chase hype. They chased the data. This entire setup feels like institutions are quietly preparing for the moment utility flips the switch, and they want a front row seat when that liquidity engine, when it starts firing. And guess what? You're early, which gets us over to the XRP chart. Look, if this thing does correct down even further, which it could because we have support sitting down here, expect to bounce anywhere from $1.80 to $2.02. We need to reclaim about 264 at this point to flip bullish. One day at a time, folks. It's going to come. It's going to happen. Then over on XRPrightnow.com, we published an article. Why no spike after ETF inflows? Everyone's biggest question. And guess what? I got your answer. Because we're going to clear this up. If the ETF was such a success, why didn't XRP price pump? Why didn't it move? Why did it go down? That's all the comments and DMs and YouTube comments and Twitter DMs I'm seeing. It's simple. ETF flows don't hit the market the instant Twitter wants them to. Spot ETFs, they work in slow motion. Trading activity happens on day one, but issuers buying the underlying asset over time, sometimes day later, to maintain proper creation and redemption baskets. Plus, your XRP inflows, while huge for an ETF launch, they are still small compared to a $100 billion market cap. Bitcoin dragged the entire market down this same day. More ETF demand is still pre-positioning in seed capital. In-kind transfers removed visible buy pressure from the chart. So the story the charts are telling you, it's incomplete. But here's the twist that no one's talking about. ETF inflows are cumulative. They stack, they snowball, and the more mainstream the product becomes, the faster that curve accelerates. Every single share of ETF represents XRP that cannot be dumped on retail markets. Every in-kind delivery represents institutional accumulation that never hits the public order book. Every day the ETF is live, more XRP gets locked into regulated custody. But the best part, this is the first XRP ETF from a tiny firm with almost no advertising. Imagine what happens when the big boys enter. From anywhere from today until Tuesday, Franklin Templeton, 1.5 trillion assets under management will have their ETF live. Let that sink in. And then here's where things get almost a little too perfect, if you ask me. Right as the ETFs start gaining traction, the SEC, yes. I never thought we would have to hear that 3 letters again, but here we are. The same SEC that tried to sue half the industry, they casually dropped the bomb here. They stated that they are actively working with lawmakers to pass Bitcoin and crypto market structure legislation this year. That is not normal. That is a coordinated shift. They don't fast track legislation unless they know what's about to open the floodgates. Institutional rails are being laid down faster than ever. And guess which asset already has the banking grade plumbing built beneath it? Well, if you guessed XRP, you guessed right. Think about that for a second. When we look back and we tie everything that we are seeing together, we have hidden in-kind accumulation that hasn't even hit the charts yet. You got small firms outperforming giants because demand is absolutely exploding. You have institutional interest building before price reacts. And you got the SEC fast-tracking legislation. This isn't a coincidence, everyone. This is a chain reaction. And the spark was the ETF launch. We're early. We're positioned. And the data is screaming that the real move, it hasn't happened yet. If you're still here, smash that like button. Some more XRP holders get this breakdown and subscribe, because the next few weeks, they are shaping up to be historic. The switch has flipped. The bull run, it starts here. I hope you enjoyed. Have an amazing Friday night. I'll see all y'all Saturday morning.